Well, forget letting illegals into the country. Now we're letting them run the country. Hi, everyone. I'm Neil Cavuto. And the city of Huntington Park in California just appointed 2 illegal immigrants as commissioners. That means the illegals will now be making decisions on behalf of legal Americans. And that did not set well with some fans in that audience not intrigued. Something tells me Jeb Bush isn't either.
The idea that illegal immigrants would be on a city council is absurd, just as it is for sanctuary cities to exist. You can't have cities that just blatantly violate federal law and then have the tragedies that take place as they did outside of Cleveland and in San Francisco recently. This is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. And it creates this feeling that we're never going to get to the proper place for immigration because no one thinks that the borders are going to be secure. No one thinks the rule of law applies. And they need to think that for us to get to the elements of immigration reform that will create higher sustained growth.
To Ben Stein, Charles Payne, Dagan McDowell, along with Jessica Ehrlich and Charlie Gasparino, Adam Lashinsky is still out on his debate drinking game fallout. All right, so Ben Stein, what did you make of this? And it's happening in your neck of the woods, and I can't understand it. But what do you think of that? It's one thing to have illegal immigrants. We know they're here, but then putting them on a board.
There's a great writer named Isaac Singer who said, Hollywood is an insane asylum, a real one. And that's true basically of Southern California generally in terms of our political decisions. It's the best place to live in the world. I love it. I've never been happier anywhere else I've ever lived except Idaho than LA. But we have crazy people making decisions and they think this is a compassionate thing to do. They think this is a loving thing to do. In fact, it's an illegal thing to do. You cannot have people who are not citizens running as commissioners for a city in the United States of America. It's just flat out illegal. And they can't do it, but they'll do it anyway, and probably some damn Superior Court judge will uphold it.
The argument of the mayor was that there's a large illegal community there and that they needed representation and they needed their voice heard, and he put these 2 on. What do you think, Dave?
If you're illegal, then you shouldn't be in this country, period. Get out.
Whoa, let me write that down.
That's right, right on.
You're illegal,
right on.
Should not be in
Again, we're worried. I tell you what this is going to do. These isolated instances, though, it is pushing, particularly the Republican Party, which you saw in the debate, even though unauthorized immigration has been roughly stable over the last 5 years, it is pushing conservatives more and more against, keeping people in this country. A path to citizenship. You heard Governor Scott Walker change his opinion on that. So be careful. The further left the left goes, the further right the right will go. And
Charles Payne, what do you think?
Well put.
This thing is almost a comedy, I swear. I'm thinking like Woody Allen could do Banana Republic or something. There could be a movie somewhere here, Ben. I know you got to know someone because it's so absurd that they would actually do this. It's beyond the pale of imagination that you would make illegals in charge of making laws in this country.
Well, the argument for it, Gasparino, is that, look, the mayor's saying, they aren't paid, these illegals. They couldn't help
aren't paid?
I want you to hear this out.
Yeah,
they are not paid. You can't blame them. They are the children of illegals, got here at a very young age.
Right.
What do you make of the argument?
Well, it's kind of a stupid argument in this sense that, this is
well, you're not saying I'm stupid.
No, but no, the mayor's, all the mayor's arguments are dumb for this reason. This is a town that's basically heavily Hispanic, run by Hispanic politicians. There's no, I don't
legal Hispanic.
Legal Hispanic. I don't know of any, well, until now, right? It gives new meaning to the word sanctuary city, I guess. But there is no grievance group or no. Maybe there is a new affirmative action group that one of our liberal cast members could tell us about. Illegal immigrants can now get affirmative action. They can start their own minority-owned firms. They can do whatever they can do something else. This is a new classification. Maybe.
All right, so Jessica, you are in the role of Adam Lashinsky today, trying to make sense of something that seems incredibly asinine. Go.
Well, I think what we're looking at here is actually shining a spotlight on the fact that these folks are already in this country. And there's a big difference between, say, what happened in San Francisco with sanctuary cities and Kate Steinle, where you have people being murdered by folks who are actually illegal felons who are in this country, and the people who are here who are really undocumented workers who go to school here, who participate in communities.
They are legal.
And they're illegally here, but they want to become American citizens.
I know,
and
I want to be fair. But my point is they are illegal. They should not be here. And now we're going one step further and say, we know you shouldn't be here, but would you settle for being on a board, a commission?
You know,
I mean, I can't speak to the legality of them being on this board. Supposedly, the city attorney in this case said that it was not against the law.
Well, you could
However,
get one of those
they
morons
are
to
people
say
who are
anything.
here, and I think what we heard last night from Bush and from Rubio was very interesting about how do we deal with the folks who are already here.
Listen,
it's not just a border
Well, we don't
issue.
put them on boards. We don't put them on
we should point out that you can get one of these dopey city attorneys to say anything. As Ben said, you can get a higher court to approve this thing. I will say this, and this is where I'm from immigration, obviously.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, from Mars. No, I'm only kidding. But anyway, my great-grandparents came here and waited online. I don't understand why these people just jump across a stream dividing Texas from Mexico and can come here illegally and benefit from our welfare state. I think it's an abomination.
It's actually worse than that because they're being rewarded more and more. I think to say that this isn't like a sanctuary city and a felon, this is actually even worse. So we're saying, listen, you could actually start to gain power, influence. You can start to write the rules in a country where you're breaking the rules by being here in the first place. Again, it's beyond the pale that this is happening.
And there's a cost factor.
I'm waiting for someone to tell me it's April Fool's.
You can't, and there's a cost, cost factor here. You can't have open borders and a welfare state, and this is the epitome of open borders.
But isn't this taking a logical extension of what we've seen already?
I mean, Jeb Bush mentioned this last night when he said that we've already got these people waiting in line. So it goes against that argument. These folks are waiting
he said more than that. He said more than that the other night. He said more than that. He said you have to send them back, you have to apply, you have to wait online.
All right, guys, I think we're missing the point here. Dagan, the one thing I just see that's going on here is that whatever you think about illegals and how we deal with that problem and those who shouldn't be here, it's one thing to recognize the obvious that you shouldn't be here. It's quite another to reward them and put them on a government board where they can be calling orders, whether they're paid or not, usurping legal Americans who should be on such commissions. That's when it gets crazy.
The resources are being spent on keeping illegal immigrants in this country rather than removing them from this country.
And incentivize. Ben signed that.
It becomes a rolling ball that you cannot stop.
Well, we're already at that not-stop stage, right, Ben?
It is way past the non-stop stage. It is at the stage where it's going to roll over all of us. The next stage will be that they can vote. And the next thing is going to be that they're going to be illegal immigrants as senators, then an illegal immigrant as a Supreme Court justice. I mean, there's no stopping this. Once the political ball starts crushing the legal ball, we are all in trouble.
Right, and the welfare state will grow and grow and grow because it's in their best interest to expand the welfare state, to take in the more undocumented who come from poor countries, and they need help. They need social services, and we have to pay for it all.
You know, Jessica, the only argument comes up with this is that is a logical extension of some crazy, stunts we've seen extended and extended again, where we provide driver's licenses, we provide working permits, we provide all this stuff to those who should not be here. And a lot of Americans who pay taxes and deal with all these lumps again and again say, really? And now I have to answer to said commissioners or board members in one city, and this is going to happen in other cities, and this will go down and not be opposed, and it'll pop up in a number of other communities. Don't you think that alone frustrates legal Americans and those who have legally gone through the immigration process to say, next time I'm just going to hop the fence?
I mean, I think it does frustrate people, especially those folks who are waiting in line. I mean, I think that's an undeniable fact. But we do have these millions of people who are here, and it's not just a welfare issue. A lot of these folks are doing the jobs that other folks don't want to do, like picking fruit and being itinerant farmers. And
well, if
doing
you had less of them, the wages would go up, and more Americans would take those jobs.
Itinerant farmers?
More, if you had less, if you had,
absolutely. I'm in
here's the problem with liberals like you.
California, and that is what they're doing. We have a huge issue with people picking tomatoes and fruit.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem.
One at a time. Charlie, finish that thought.
I would say here's the problem with liberals like her. I mean, like Jessica. They talk about the wage gap growing and growing and growing, yet they want to, the people on the higher end making a lot more, people on the lower end making a lot less, but then they want to flood the labor market with undocumented and unskilled laborers.
She never said that, and don't start assigning me.
She did, because she just said, we need them to pick fruit. No, she just said they needed to pick fruit.
Have you talked to the people that own these businesses?
Jessica, all I'm saying is you as a liberal or someone with a kind heart or whatever you want to describe it, and we're paying for that, which is fine. I'm just saying, do you find it a bit much when we take that to the next level and start appointing our representatives who aren't even legally here to be representatives to then start dictating policy to Americans who are legally here? Is that somehow not crazy, mixed up, upside down, asinine?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Ben. I think only in California. I can't imagine this happening anywhere else in the country. But
Really?
Drive Vermont.
You need to take a trip east.
Vermont, yeah, that's a good
And
point.
New York City.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, a top Democrat now coming out against this Iran deal. So I'm wondering if it makes this particular Democrat a mullah too.
Today on Forbes on Fox, defunding Planned Parenthood. Most GOP presidential candidates vowing to do it this week as Hillary Clinton accuses them of waging a war on women over it. We debate it. Plus, the EPA's brand new rules to fight global warming. Will they end up heating up your energy bills? Forbes on Fox at 11 a.m. Eastern Time.